Hi, everybody. Good to see you today. What I would like to talk about today's topic, I have prepared some special discussion, but my students will be leading the discussion. So this is about 1 to 2 minutes. The leading student, you are going to summarize your article sources that you want to share with your classmates and also want to share with the viewers. You have 3 minutes to provide your strategies that will guide your selected case or industry to survive and strive. You will also have up to 4 minutes. You will be the leading discussion. You are going to lead the class for a meaningful discussion. So this is today's format. And we have the first discussant, Mr. Harrison. You are on the stage. The stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Harrison Fuller, and for my discussion, I'll be talking about the casino and gambling industry because that is what I'm interested in. The COVID-19 pandemic is deeply impacting the U.S. casino industry, and the casino industry is comprised of commercial and tribal casinos, sports books, gaming equipment manufacturing companies, lodging and hotels, and restaurants, and those are all being negatively impacted. The American Gaming Association announced that they will support the government's actions to flatten the curve, and they closed all casinos. But while they are adhering to the government's orders, they're also asking for urgent action needed to mitigate the dire impacts of closures that will have on the casino industry. All 465 commercial casinos in the United States have closed, and 508 of the 524 tribal casinos are closed. So 973 casinos are closed. That's 98% of all the gaming industries in the United States. This closure affects casinos and 649,000 employees, and the closures risk more than $75 billion in yearly wages. The casino gaming supports $41 billion in annual tax revenue and tribal sharing revenue nationwide. And if the American casinos stay closed for 2 more months, they will expect to cost the U.S. economy $43.5 billion. Also, according to the American Gaming Association, the casino industry supports more than 350,000 employees at small businesses, such as local shops and restaurants that are in a relative location to the casinos. And it will also cost billions of dollars in tax revenue for those small businesses. Even online gaming has taken a hit as well because all the brick and mortar stores are closed, but also online gaming has seen a huge decrease because there are hardly any sports left around anywhere in the world. There's not many leagues that are left that you can gamble on. So online sports books have turned to virtual games and simulations. However, that leads officials to be worried about people being stuck at their house with boredom and becoming addicted to gambling. So there is definitely some issues that are being raised by officials in the government. To combat this issue, the casino industries have asked the United States Congress for direct cash payments, deferred loans, and special tax brackets to be able to combat this. Now, if I was a casino owner myself, I would try to furlough as many non-essential employees as possible because there's just no one in the employees. The maintenance would be important to keep up, but any non-essential employees should be furloughed, and any projects that are being completed or under construction right now should be halted. A stat that I have from Caesars Entertainment, they will be able to remain open for 239 days with their cash on hand, and MGM Resorts will be able to remain open for 563 days. But each of those days they're closed. MGM Resorts International is burning $14.4 million a day. So halting all projects, furloughing workers, and trying to keep as much cash on hand would be of the utmost importance because every day these buildings are still operated with the water, the power, the electricity, so they're burning millions of dollars. And these larger companies like MGM and Caesars have more cash on hand, so the smaller casinos and the tribal casinos that directly affect the Native American tribes in those communities, that is detrimental to those areas. Yeah, does anybody have any questions? Or any input?
Alex, any thoughts?
It. Sorry, I was trying to unmute it. I guess it's just like really interesting, like how big of a hit the industry is taking, especially at a time when they're expecting, or usually expecting, you know, like peak occupancy, or you know, peak guests at casinos and stuff. So it's just really interesting, like to see how big of a hit they're really taking right at that, you know, peak time when they're, you know, when they need to be making revenue, and just seeing how much they're really using or losing. So yeah, it just, you know, really hurting the industry a lot.
Yeah, according to Caesars, their February and January earnings were the highest they've ever had, and then this pandemic hit in March. So they were on track to have their highest quarter one earnings they've ever had in the history of their operations, and this pandemic absolutely flattened that growth. So it's going to be a long uphill battle for them to come back, but most of them have cash on hand and will hopefully be able to seek relief from the United States Congress.
Any other feedback? Kathleen?
Just thought it was interesting that you mentioned like the effects of like gambling at home with boredom will have on like people getting addicted. It's interesting to see that they're even taking that into consideration.
Yeah, for sure. The gambling has originated really in the United Kingdom and in England, and William Hill was the first publicly traded sportsbook, and they even, as sportsbook themselves, have sent out, you know, stuff to say responsible gambling. They have the addiction hotline, and people are pretty worried about that becoming an issue, especially when there's so many young kids being exposed to technology. They have easy access to gambling sites, and hopefully they will be able to limit people who are underage and people who have problem gambling habits from becoming addicted.
Okay, very good discussion and a very informative insights that Harrison has shared with the class. Thank you so much, and we are going to talk more, and we will see you soon again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. Our next leading discussion is Elizabeth. Today, she will summarize what she has learned from a specific case she has identified, and she will provide her suggestions for the industries. And the next, she will be leading the class discussion. Elizabeth, the stage is yours.
All right, well, I'm Elizabeth. I'll be leading today's discussion, and I initially wanted to look at Pigeon Forge, Tennessee during this pandemic, but I have since shifted my focuses to zoos and the whole industry. Now, Zoo Knoxville, our local zoo, is one of the zoos that's classified as a nonprofit. This is common across the industry. Most zoos are nonprofits, with most of their operating funds coming from the sales of tickets, season passes, and different events that they hold at the zoos. Now, for the most part, I know exactly for Knoxville, that income is essentially 75% of its operating funds. Now, with the zoos being closed due to COVID-19, it's forced the public to not be able to come to the zoos, and they've lost that essential income that's necessary to provide for the animals and the staff who are there to remain to care for the animals in the zoo. So zoos elsewhere aside from Knoxville are reacting differently. I know that the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago, Illinois recently announced that they were going to furlough over 1/3 of their employees who have been deemed non-essential. Now, these employees were not given a notice. It was more of a, hey, today is your last day of work. And that is a major shock, and it's difficult for the employees to cope with it, as well as you're taking away these other individuals from the animals in the zoo. So that is causing distress for the animals in the zoo just as much as it is for those caring for them. So a lot of these animals who are intelligent and social creatures are continuing to even show up for their little social appearances every day without a crowd, which is causing some major feelings for the animals. In addition to, they're noticing that the animals are reacting poorly. They are getting sluggish. It's a mess for both workers and for the animals. And with all that being said, there's also the case with the Bronx Zoo, where they recently announced that one of their tigers had contracted COVID-19 from an employee. Now, this is the first case of a transfer from human to animal that's really listed as being highlighted as much as this one. And this has led to an increase in caution between human and animal interactions at not only this zoo, but zoos across the country, as they had not previously been prepared or planning for this sort of situation. Now, with that happening, it's also leading to zoos requiring more personal protective equipment, which is already an item that's becoming more and more difficult to find across the globe due to COVID-19. So one thing that's happening in Knoxville is a lot of local governments as well as state governments are pitching in to help fund these zoos due to the lack of visitors. I know Knoxville has recently, I believe, the mayor granted, I think it might be $600,000 to go towards the zoo to help them during this time. I think right now it's crucial for the government to really step in, because these are locations that cannot be open, they cannot be accessed by the public, and they're losing their income that is providing for their animals. So I just want to know other people's thoughts on that and what else can be done to help support these zoos during this time.
Harrison.
I'm not sure. Do you know of any like social media outreach that the zoos are doing to try to have donors or people who are willing to give money to the zoos if they're not receiving any profit for these nonprofit organizations?
Absolutely. So each zoo has kind of taken it upon themselves to email their list of sponsors, their list of individuals who are season pass holders, as well as anybody that has subscribed to the zoo in the past. I know Zoo Knoxville has recently sent out a mass email asking for donations from the public, but during this time it's also hard for them to get due to the amount of layoffs in industries across the globe. So people are struggling to get their own income, making it harder for them to donate, but they are all asking for that. And I know, what was it? Zoo Knoxville has been asking for that, but that's why they had to go get the supplemental. I know that they're also doing online viewings of the animals, because with spring approaching, you're also getting a lot of baby animals, like you're getting all of those. So they're doing live streams showcasing these different species and all their just nature and habit, what they're doing during this time. I know a lot of aquariums too have been doing different videos where they have taken a penguin out of an enclosure and the penguin just kind of roams the aquarium. So they're still trying to remain active on social media and show people that they're there, they're caring for their animals, in hopes that maybe people during these live streams will be donating to them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anybody else? So again, thank you, Elizabeth. It's a very important issue at this moment for this COVID-19 virus pandemic. We want to care about the well-being of humans, but also we care about the well-being of our animals at the zoo and also our friends at home. So again, not only about physical distancing, but also again for emotional support, there will be something right now and in the future we all want to think about how we can support our humans and also support our humans' best friends. And this is something definitely is challenging. But again, if you are financially able and you have a big heart, definitely we encourage you all to make donations to those zoos, not only in the state of Tennessee, but wherever you are, definitely any help will be very valuable. Thank you for watching today, and we'll be back soon. Hi, welcome back, everybody. We are going to continue our Zoom room discussion. Today we have Linda. She has a special topic to share with the class and to share with the industries. Linda, the stage is yours.
Hi everyone, my name is Linda Leiser, and my special topic is the way Ukraine is dealing with coronavirus. And why I chose Ukraine is because I am from Ukraine originally, and I have a lot of people and family that still live there, and the way they're dealing with coronavirus there is really interesting. So the way they started dealing with coronavirus, it hit them probably like a month ago. And right away, they closed their borders. And it was probably at the same time as America closed their borders. Ukraine shut down their borders right away. And so as of right now, there had been 1,062 confirmed cases and 45 deaths, and only 28 recovered patients as of today. Only 28, which is kind of crazy. So the way they're dealing with it right now, they're on quarantine. They have been on quarantine for 3 weeks, and all the borders like within Ukraine are shut down. No one can go from one city to another. Like usually if you go travel from one city, you have to take a bus or a train. You can travel like in your car, but it's more expensive. So most of the people travel in a train, but it's all shut down right now. Only cars can drive. But whenever you are crossing the borders from one city to another, they stop you, they check your ID, they check your temperature, and if your temperature is higher than the average, you get I'm not sure if you get sent back home or you get sent to the hospital. I think you have to go back. You're not allowed to enter the city. And another thing that I thought was really cool, and I think United States should do that too, because a lot of the kids are not able to like enter Zoom or don't have internet access to go to do school through the internet, but most of them have TV. And so what what the Ukraine president is doing is that he took a video of the teachers, and he will be showing it on the international TV for all the Ukrainian students to watch. So like on Mondays, he has a program for like first graders and second graders on one special channel, and it's all free. It's just on TV. And on Tuesdays, they have like 11th grade history. And then on Fridays, they have like 5th graders, Ukrainian language, and then English. And it's all spread out, and it's really, really cool. I think they have like only the most important classes. So I think it's like history, Ukrainian language, math, and maybe English. So I think those are the 4 classes that they're showing. And I think United States should do that too, because a lot of the kids do not have the access to the internet. They do not have phones. And so they don't know like how to do schoolwork, and they might be failing classes. So, well, they are doing that in one county, like in Nashville, Sumner County. They're posting it online, or I think maybe it's on TV. I don't remember where they're doing it, but they're making it easier for children to access it through their TV, I think. I don't remember how they're doing it. So some of the counties in the United States are doing it too, but not the whole country. So I think that could be improved too. So I think that's it.
Any thoughts?
One more thing. Well, another thing is that more people are taking it in Ukraine. People are taking it more serious than in United States. Most of the people are wearing gloves. They're changing them constantly. They are wearing masks whenever they're going outside. So even though they might not have the virus, or they might not think they have the virus, they still wear a mask because they're not sure if they could spread it. And it's just more helpful to stop spreading it. If you're going to the store, wear a mask.
Yeah, that's very...
In the United States, a lot of people are still outside. A lot of people are still going out and doing stuff and gathering more people, more than 10 people. Oh, another thing. I just remembering so many things now. Another thing is that now you're not allowed to walk there's not allowed to be more than 2 people outside together. Like in the United States, there shouldn't be a gathering more than 10, but in Ukraine, there's only 2 people allowed to be together if you're walking outside. And you're supposed to have an ID on you, and if there is more people than 2, they're going to ID you and they will give you a ticket. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing. If I may share, the other day I was talking to a colleague who lives in China, and she is a college dean for her school, for her university. So right now, because it seems like China has controlled the whole situation a little bit more effectively than the other countries. So for the universities, partial of the universities are able to go back to work, but they control the number of faculty members and the staff. They need to fill out their time sheets and to inform the university. So they put no more than 1/3 of the total number of their department are able to go back to the office. And plus in public, it's required to wear a mask. And also they have the connection to the technology. So once you enter a room, your cell phone will be screened by the technology. So that monitor will know you are in the building, and they will be able to check with your temperature and any history of you have been gone to the caregiver area. So there are a few things that definitely at this stage in the US, I believe we are doing the best we could, but again, be sensitive about our daily behavior. So let me give you an example. So for example, why this virus is so dangerous, because it could be contagious by a very healthy person. So that's why being in public to wear a mask will be a good idea. And on the other hand, I know majority, I wouldn't say everybody, but it seems like a culture, lots of people, they take a shower in the morning. So if you go out, I will recommend you take a shower before you go to bed. Otherwise, you're going to sleep with the germs and bacteria. So that's quite a possibility. So there will be some changing of our daily behavior. Any other thoughts to reflect on what Linda has shared? Harrison.
I know, like Dr. Chen said, in Taiwan, the government is providing masks to its citizens. Are they doing that in Ukraine as well, or are people having to source those themselves?
Thank you for reminding me of that, because that was the point I was going to talk about, but I forgot. That's the thing that, so the government of Ukraine is so corrupted, and like the business is really corrupted, that they are definitely not providing any masks, and they're not providing any gloves. If you were able to get the gloves at the store at the beginning of this virus, then you are lucky, because people were going crazy, like they were going crazy with toilet paper in the United States. But the government, or like the businesses, are trying to make money out of this coronavirus. They are putting up the prices that are so high on gloves, on masks, on hand sanitizer. They are so expensive that our people are just like, what is going on? Are you like trying to kill us or trying to help your people? So yeah, that's one of the things that is not good. That's not handled really well in Ukraine.
Are there no like inflation laws there in Ukraine?
I don't know what that is.
Like in regards to companies price gouging, like how much hand sanitizer and stuff is, like in the United States?
They don't care. No, the rules do not apply like that in Ukraine.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
well,
probably are, but some businesses, like in little cities where the businesses are like just local, that the government has no idea about, they will just probably buy a lot from like a factory and then be like, whoa, we are selling masks right now and they're super fashionable. You can buy them for $50. So yeah.
Do the hospitals have enough, I guess, supplies and ventilators and stuff?
Oh, yes. And the Ukrainian president said that he sent, I think, 20 or 17 Ukrainian doctors to Italy to learn and help them to work there and to like see how they're dealing with the coronavirus so they could come back with more knowledge and to help Ukrainian people and to know how to deal with this virus.
Well, thank you for sharing, Linda. So I do hope that every country may consider adopting a very good policy from Taiwanese government, and that is from April, every 14 days, every adult could have 9 masks, and every 14 days, every child could have 10 masks. So that's something the government is putting the effort to help the residents to stay healthy. And again, it's a policy that when you are taking the high-speed rail and also you are for the public transportation, it's required to wear the masks. So definitely that's a very good control. So again, in the era like this, adaptive behavior will be really could be something can save lives, 1,000 million lives. So although it's a temporary physical distancing, but for long term, we all hope that this will go away ASAP. So, and I believe that we are going to get through this together stronger with wisdom. So by then, I will see you soon. Talk to you soon. Hi, welcome back. This is Dr. Rachel Chen's Zoom room, and I have my students. They are going to talk about concurrent issues. Right now, we have Abby. She will be leading the discussion with her classmates. Abby, the stage is yours.
Hi, I'm Abby. I'm a junior at the University of Tennessee, and the topic that I picked for this discussion was how the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting the bar industry and bartenders. So with all of the unknowns about the crisis and when it will end, bartenders are left with a lot of increasing amount of financial insecurity, and they really have no idea when they're going to be working again. And so their other concern is that when they do reopen, a lot of other people right now are experiencing financial issues because of layoffs and furloughs. So they think that the restaurant and bar industry is going to take a little bit longer to get back on its feet because people aren't going to be willing to go out and spend as much money as they were. But so with bar owners, the problems that they're facing, it's especially with newer establishments that have just recently opened. There was one bar that I read about, I'm pretty sure it was in Alabama. She had just opened a month before she was made to shut down. So she was like, I already am in so much debt and now I have zero revenue coming in. So that's a big problem for all new bar owners. So there's one thing that they can do that all owners and bartenders, they can apply to join the U.S. Bartenders Guild because they have a bartender emergency assistance program, and they have a specific charity foundation set up that receives donations for employees during the pandemic that aren't working to help them cover costs and things like that. They have to apply, but if you qualify, then you do get grants from the government. And then other companies like Jameson, the alcohol company, they donated $500,000 to this fund, and they were also going to match donations up to $100,000 from the public to help people. And another mezcal liquor company has also donated money, and they're giving 100% of their profits on select merchandise to the fund. So there are companies within the industry that it may not be bars, but it's specific brands that realize that by partnering with bars and keeping bars open, they're getting their product out. They need bars to sell their products. So they're realizing that this is also a problem for them, even if they're not feeling it. And some ways that these companies can I guess, stay relevant and stay involved and maybe make some money is that, well, some bars have already started doing it. They have virtual happy hours where people get a link and they can like Zoom in from their house. And so like the bartenders that host, there's an online tip jar that's set up. And if you join, you can tip them, but they spend the time teaching you how to make different drinks and things like that. And they talk about different alcohol brands and what's better, what's not, and other stuff. And I think they also do discuss COVID-19 information for people if they want to go, because they say on their websites, the bars that do virtual happy hours, that, you know, you go to a happy hour more for the social experience than you do drinking. So you don't have to drink in your house alone. You can drink online, I guess. And there are more fundraisers popping up to help the bar industry. They can also do takeout. I guess some states allow you to do this, like ordering like cocktails to go, but they have to be sealed a proper way and all this other stuff. So I'm not sure that everyone can afford to do it, but some bars are just, they're closed. They can't afford to do the takeout. They can't afford to do anything like that. So they are just closed. The other thing that you can do is they offer gift cards. So you can buy a gift card and that gives them some cash flow in the moment and you to use at a later date. And if they have merchandise, they can also sell merchandise. But so that's kind of it.
Okay, thank you. Any thoughts from the class?
I really like how they're trying to find like other ways of, you know, finding cash flow, like the gift cards and things like that to, I guess, really support, you know, the small businesses and keep them alive during like, you know, this tough time. So I definitely think that's a good idea, especially, you know, the takeout and all that. So, and the gift cards help as soon as the restaurants and, you know, whatever the gift cards are for get back in business.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of local breweries are doing like beer to go and you can like get a pint and just take it home. So
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we do our part to support our local business as much as we could. Thank you for sharing this important industry with us, Abby. And we will definitely follow up and to find out if there are any creative way we can support this industry. And again, make sure people who can drink, but responsibly. And again, drinking online, it might be a good idea. To enjoy. It's more about the social gathering, to enjoy a very friendly environment. I think that's the concept of having a friendly environment and to enjoy some quality time. Okay, we will come back soon. Thank you. Hi, welcome back, everybody. Now we have Kathleen will be leading us for another interesting discussion. Kathleen, the stage is on for you.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Baker. I'm a senior at the University of Tennessee. My topic will be how hotels are like stepping up to help during the pandemic, and how I think that what they're doing now will actually benefit them in the long run. But what I looked at is a few different articles that were talking about different cities and how their hotels are adapting right now. One of them was that in Columbus, some hotels are housing coronavirus or homeless coronavirus patients because the homeless population is a higher risk group between like ages and health issues, and it can spread so rapidly in like homeless shelters, and they're already being filled as it is. So these hotels are having nurses and like RNs and the people you would see at urgent care type doctors there, just to kind of monitor these patients, keep them separated. They're in separate hotel rooms. And then in another city, I don't know which one this is in. This was in Spain. This one, they are housing they're working as like a hospital just for regular patients, because if one person in a family gets the mild symptoms where they don't have to be intubated and things like that, they're still able to spread, and somebody else in that household might get it to the point that they have to go to the ER. So it's doing the same things they're doing for the homeless patients, or who have nurses just like monitor symptoms. Some of these hotels are still staffing like their front desk and their housekeeping, and they're keeping them away from the patients, but they're still there to like get paid and clean just the basic things. And lastly, some hotels in Miami, and I believe also in New York and several other cities, are housing medical professionals, whether it be doctors, nurses, first responders of that sort, because they are getting exposed. They're not always contracting the disease, but then they may be taking it home to their families and exposing their families. But as I mentioned, I do think there will be like long-term benefits for these hotels, as like the patients who have stayed there may want to come back, next year with their families and actually experience the hotel in and of itself. And then also just like good publicity. You hear about these hotels on the news and you're like, wow, I really like what they're doing. I would prefer to support that hotel. But yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Catherine. Any thoughts, any feedback about this topic?
Are the medical professionals who are being allowed to stay in there, it's all for free, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
This could be a good time for, I guess, the industry to really like step up and, try to offer some, some good. I mean, what we're all about is hospitality. So why not, offer that during a crisis?
There's a stimulus that has been set aside for these hotels, so they still have money to like stay open and provide these services.
That's good.
Yeah, very good. Definitely very good reputation, very good heart for the community. Yes, Abby.
Is there I guess like a limit or a cutoff to how many people that they can have in their hotel?
As far as I've seen, I don't know, but I would say, yeah, I would say maybe they do every other room.
Okay.
That
That would make sense.
Yeah, definitely the proper social distancing, and plus that's air quality and how to protect the staff, how to protect all the medical persons. Those are the priority. But again, thank you so much. It's a very good topic. And for us, for this moment, we all try to really stay healthy, stay strong, stay well. And when we look back, say today is 2022, we watch this video again, and we'll be so grateful that we did something very smart. That's how we survived through this together. So until next time, take good care, and I'll see you soon.